It's your Congressman Jamie Raskin coming to you this beautiful Friday, December the 15th, 2023. For my favorite time of the week, it's Local Hero, when we get to salute the people who make life so wonderful and so rich for us here in Maryland's 8th District. Today, my local hero is Maury Peterson, who's the Executive Director of Rebuilding Together Montgomery County. This is a not-for-profit that provides free critical home repairs to low-income seniors, to veterans, to people with disabilities in our community, and members of other marginalized communities, all in MoCo. And Maury, before joining as the Executive Director, worked for 20 years in the international not-for-profit and social service sector, serving as Vice President of the Grand Circle Foundation, which is a tour operator of international vacations for Americans over 50. She spent 10 years working for UNICEF in Mauritius. She was she worked for the UN High Commissioner for Refugees in Switzerland, the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights in Rwanda, and as a consultant to care and population services in Zimbabwe. So she's had an extraordinary career in community and public service all over the world. And Maury, we want to recognize you for the great work that you and Rebuilding Together are doing, offering home repairs and accessibility modifications and other kinds of home repairs for people in our community. So thank you.
Thank you. It's wonderful to be here.
Now you've been with Rebuilding Together for how long?
About 3.5 years, but when I was running the foundation in Boston for 16 years, or for 12 years, I was a volunteer with the Rebuilding Together affiliate in Boston. So I've had a long history with Rebuilding Together.
Right. And so the idea basically is, if you have an older person on a fixed income who doesn't have a lot of money, or a disabled person, or veterans who need help on their homes and their houses, which might be falling apart under the stresses of climate change and so on. What do you guys do, and where do you get the resources? Who gets involved in the process of, say, repairing somebody's porch, or a badly decrepit roof or something like that?
Right. So we are a small nonprofit. We started in 1990, founded by volunteers. And so we raise funds through grants, corporate sponsorships, individuals, and kind of patch it all together so that we can provide free critical home repairs to low-income folks in Montgomery County. And so they would apply. We have an online application, and then we go out and do a whole home assessment. Just because sometimes when someone calls us with an issue, it's more of a symptom of a bigger problem. And then we put together a scope of work in partnership with the homeowner and figure out, what can we do for them? We're not Extreme Home Makeover, and so we were focused on just the critical home repairs to keep them safely and healthier in their own homes. And so we will then put together a scope of work, send out contractors that we pay, or groups of volunteers to make those repairs free of charge to qualifying homeowners.
Yeah, well, I first encountered Rebuilding Together at a fair for veterans that was in Silver Spring at the VFW post there. Is that basically how you guys are getting the word out? You go to community events and fairs and so on and talk about it?
Yeah, so we're a very small nonprofit. We don't have a big marketing budget, so we do a lot of tabling at events, such as the one where we met you, and then we have a lot of partnerships in the county. We receive funding from the Montgomery County government. We're part of the Montgomery Housing Alliance, and so we try to spread the word far and wide. We visit a lot of the senior centers. And just try to do whatever we can to get the word out. And then our homeowners, our happy homeowners that we serve, are our best source of referrals because they tell their friends about us, which is wonderful.
Yeah. So how many people are you actually able to serve in a year? How many people have you been able to serve in the last 33 years of the existence of the group?
Yes, so since we've started, we've served over 3,000 families, all low income. And this year we have a goal to serve 180 families. Our fiscal year is July to June. So far we've served 76 families. And so what's wonderful is it's not just a kind of a one and done. A lot of these folks have multiple repairs. As you know, it's very expensive to live in Montgomery County. And we focus on people that are at 50% or less of area median income. So for your listeners who aren't kind of familiar with area median income, if you lined up everybody that lived in Montgomery County, the middle income for a family of 4 would be $129,000. Our families that we serve on average only make $22,000 a year. So as you can imagine, after you pay your mortgage and insurance and food and medicine, there's nothing left over. And so we usually walk into situations where people have decades of deferred maintenance. And sometimes they're very serious situations that we find people living in.
So are you essentially raising money to then find contractors and then subcontractors to do the work, or is there a volunteer component to the electrical and the mechanical and the plumbing?
Yes, so it's a little bit of both. So what I love about Rebuilding Together is that it's a neighbor helping neighbor. It was founded on a neighbor helping neighbor approach. And so since we've started, we've galvanized over 50,000 community volunteers from Montgomery County to help us. So those are folks that are from civic groups, synagogues, other faith-based groups, corporations, and groups of volunteers come out to help with repairs. We also then raise funds to be able to hire small contracting companies to help us. And so because we're a small business, we're committed to also helping other small businesses in Montgomery County. So we have a number of small contractor companies that partner with us. Most of them are immigrants. And so they've started their own businesses and they're helping us. They also represent the community. As you know, Montgomery County is so diverse. So we have lots of different language capabilities to help. And so we'll send in, when it's technical, we'll send in, real technical people. We have roofers that help us. We have HVAC companies that go in. And so it's a little bit of doing it both ways. And then we also get a lot of in-kind donations from area businesses.
That's just awesome. Well, look, I was blown away to meet your wonderful staff and amazed as I've learned more about the organization. And so we want to help get the word out about Rebuilding Together. If people know, friends and neighbors who could benefit from this service, they should definitely get in touch with you guys, Rebuilding Together of Montgomery County. And we want to salute you as a local hero for everything that you do for us.
Thank you so much. And I would love to tell people that in April, we have our National Rebuilding Day. It happens across the country in all of our Rebuilding Together affiliates. But in Montgomery County, we'll be having projects on April 26th, 27th, and 28th. Groups of volunteers will be going out to help all across the county. We have 25 groups signed up already. So we're excited about that. So if folks are interested in helping, if you know someone that needs help, they can go to our website, which is rebuildingtogethermc.org. Or if they have a group and would love to volunteer, we would love to partner with you as well.
That's Maury Peterson, the Executive Director of Rebuilding Together Montgomery County, our local hero for today, December 15th, 2023. Sending all best to everybody out there, and please be sure to get in touch with Maury to salute her as our local hero.